Have you ever felt completely awake in a world that still seems asleep? You're in a room full of people, laughter echoes around you, conversations flow, yet inside there's this quiet, unsettling distance. It's as if everyone is moving along, following scripts they don't even question, while you see the hidden patterns, the unspoken fears, the subtle manipulations, the truths that nobody else dares to face. And in that moment, something shifts. You realize the more aware you become, the more isolated you feel, the more clarity you gain, the sharper the line between you and the crowd. This is not a curse, this is awakening. This is the cost and the gift of seeing clearly. Carl Jung said that awareness awakens the individual consciousness. It allows you to perceive layers of reality that others unconsciously accept, layers that most people ignore simply because confronting them is uncomfortable. When you start noticing the cracks in the world around you, when you recognize the masks people wear and the illusions they cling to, something changes inside you. You no longer fit in with the easy rhythm of complacency. You can't pretend anymore. And suddenly, even in a room full of people, you are alone, not because the world has abandoned you, but because your mind has opened its eyes. This separation, this sense of isolation, is the first sign that you are stepping into your power. It is the whisper of your higher self, telling you that the life you have been living, the habitual, automatic existence, is no longer enough. And here's the truth. Most people never understand, most of humanity will never want to wake up. They will cling to comfort, to familiarity, to the illusions that make the world feel safe. And when you awaken, when you start to see with unflinching honesty, you are no longer compatible with that comfort. You are no longer compatible with the ordinary. But this is where transformation begins, because clarity is never meant to make life easy. It is meant to make life authentic. The first pang of separation is not rejection, it is liberation. The loneliness you feel is the soil in which your true self begins to grow. It is uncomfortable because growth is uncomfortable. It is frightening because it forces you to confront realities that most people avoid, the illusions in others, the truths in yourself, the vast expanse of possibility that stretches beyond the boundaries of ordinary existence. Think of those moments when you have been truly awake, when a realization struck you with such force that it changed your perception forever. Perhaps it was recognizing a toxic relationship, seeing through a lie, or confronting a personal truth you had ignored for years. In that instant, the world around you seemed smaller, or perhaps it seemed larger, more complex, more demanding. Everything you once took for granted no longer fit. And that, my friend, is the awakening. That is the beginning of your journey beyond conformity, beyond the easy illusions, beyond the ordinary. Awareness does not isolate you to punish you. It separates you to prepare you. It sharpens you, hones your mind, and ignites a fire that cannot be dimmed by the ignorance of others. It is the first step toward freedom, the freedom to see clearly, to choose consciously, to live deliberately. And while the world around you may still sleep, while the crowd may continue to move in blind patterns, you now possess a rare gift, the ability to see life as it truly is, without filters, without excuses, without illusions. So lean into it. Let the feeling of separation teach you rather than scare you. Let it remind you that you are moving in a different dimension, walking a path few have the courage to tread. The distance you feel is not emptiness, it is the echo of your own awakening, calling you to rise above the familiar, to step beyond the ordinary, to claim the clarity that is your birthright. Every pang of solitude, every moment of quiet discomfort is proof that you are alive in a way most people are not, and that, above all else, is powerful. You are awake now, you are aware now. And this is just the beginning. The world may not understand you, but that is the point. You are no longer here to conform, to follow, or to blend in. You are here to see, to know, and to rise. And from this separation, this first taste of awakening, you will forge the strength, the clarity, and the courage to step fully into the extraordinary life waiting for you. Once you awaken, once you pierce through the comforting illusions that bind most people to mediocrity, you begin to feel the undeniable mechanics of separation. It's subtle at first, almost invisible, like a slow current beneath a calm surface. You notice it in conversations that no longer satisfy you, in friendships that feel hollow, in routines that once brought comfort but now feel suffocating. Everything familiar suddenly carries a sense of distance, as if the world you once understood has shifted just beyond your reach. This is not a punishment, it is a signal, a call to ascend beyond the ordinary and embrace the clarity you have earned. Carl Jung taught that awareness creates contrast. The more conscious you become, the more sharply you perceive the difference between truth and illusion, between depth and surface, between the authentic and the artificial. And with every new layer of understanding, you are naturally pushed away from what is comfortable and ordinary. This separation is not random, it is precise, deliberate, and essential. It strips away the distractions, the complacency, the false harmony that keeps people asleep. In essence, it forces you to stand alone, not out of spite, but out of necessity. The world you once moved through with ease now feels foreign because your vision has expanded, and expansion is rarely comfortable. Think of it like a seed breaking through hard, compacted soil. The resistance is intense, the pressure is relentless, and yet, without that resistance, without that push against the familiar, the seed cannot grow. You are that seed. Awareness is the breaking of the shell. Separation is the pressure of the soil. The discomfort you feel, the loneliness, the pang of isolation, all of it is necessary. It is the universe's way of forging you into someone who keeps and no longer settle for less than truth, less than authenticity, less than a life fully lived. This is where most people fail to understand the journey. They hear about awakening and clarity and imagine it as liberation without cost, a sudden happiness without friction. But real awakening is never painless. Real clarity demands confrontation. Confrontation with the world, with society, and most painfully, with yourself. As you grow aware, the superficial masks people wear become glaringly obvious. The politeness that hides resentment, the smiles that hide envy, the rituals that mask emptiness, all of it becomes visible. And when you see these patterns clearly, you cannot participate in them blindly anymore. You cannot laugh at empty jokes, nod at hollow ideas, or pretend that mediocrity satisfies you. That is what creates separation. The refusal to live in illusion while the world clings to it desperately. And yet, this separation is your most profound ally. It is the chisel that carves away everything that is unnecessary, leaving behind the essence of who you are meant to be. It is the furnace that strengthens your character, the refining fire that tests your courage, resolve, and integrity. Every moment of tension, every pang of isolation, every glance from someone who doesn't understand your vision, these are not setbacks, they are confirmations. They are proof that you are on the path of the awakened, walking a line few dare to tread. Here's the key. Separation is not about rejection, it is about alignment. Awareness does not push you away from people because you are superior. It pushes you toward life that resonates with the truth you have seen. It allows you to distinguish what nourishes your mind, heart, and soul from what drains them. It compels you to seek relationships, ideas, and experiences that elevate you rather than dull your edge. And this is where the magic happens. Once you embrace separation as a tool rather than a burden, you stop fearing solitude. You stop measuring your worth by approval or acceptance. You begin to see the power in standing alone, in thinking independently, in acting courageously. So embrace it. Lean into the tension. Welcome the discomfort. Let the separation refine you, sharpen you, and prepare you. Do not run back to the familiar just because it feels easy. Do not compromise clarity for comfort. Every moment you feel detached, every ounce of discomfort you endure is evidence that you are stepping beyond the ordinary and moving toward extraordinary life. The world may feel distant now, but that distance is nothing more than the gap between who you were and who you are becoming. And trust me, the view on the other side, the life on the other side of this separation, is breathtaking. You are awakening, you are seeing, you are evolving. The mechanics of separation are no longer obstacles, they are your training ground, your proving field, your catalyst for greatness. And the more you embrace it, the stronger you become, the clearer your vision, and the closer you are to stepping fully into the life you were always meant to lead. Once you begin to understand the mechanics of separation, a remarkable shift occurs. You discover the true power of observation. Awareness is not just a state of seeing, it is the superpower of consciously choosing how to engage with reality. Most people live as passengers, heated by the currents of circumstance, opinions, and expectations, reacting automatically to life instead of steering it. But you, having awakened, stand apart, not in fear, not in isolation, but as an observer. And from this vantage point, you gain a clarity that transforms every decision, every action, every relationship. Observation is more than noticing. It is perceiving without distortion, discerning without judgment, understanding without compromise. It allows you to see the hidden dynamics in every interaction, the patterns that guide behavior, the subtle undercurrents that influence outcomes. When you watch closely, you recognize the truth behind the mask, the insecurity behind arrogance, the fear behind aggression, the pain behind avoidance. And when you see these truths, you are no longer controlled by them. You no longer react unconsciously. You respond with intention, power with mastery. Think about it. How often have you been swept into drama, manipulated by circumstances, or drained by energy that wasn't yours? Observation changes that. It creates an unshakable boundary between yourself and the chaos of the world. You become the lighthouse in a storm, steady, unwavering, guiding yourself and others without being pulled into the turbulence. The more clearly you observe, the more freedom you gain. You no longer need to participate in every argument, no longer need to validate every opinion, no longer need to absorb the emotional weight of others' illusions. Observation gives you detachment, but detachment is not coldness, it is control. It is presence, it is clarity. But here is the paradox, and it is beautiful. The more you observe, the more connected you actually become. By stepping back, you see the truth beneath the surface, and that truth allows you to engage with the world on a deeper, more authentic level. You are no longer bound by the shallow expectations of others. You interact with intention, with awareness, with purpose. You choose relationships, conversations, and paths that align with your vision, that resonate with your values, that amplify your power. And in doing so, you elevate not only yourself, but the world around you. Observation also cultivates resilience. When you see life with clarity, you are prepared. You recognize threats before they strike, opportunities before they appear, patterns before they repeat. You no longer stumble blindly through existence. You anticipate, you strategize, you act with precision. Every challenge becomes a chance to exercise your discernment, every setback a lesson in perspective, every interaction a test of conscious engagement. And with every test you grow stronger, wiser, more unshakable. But the true power of observation extends inward as well. It is not enough to see the world. You must see yourself. Every thought, every emotion, every impulse becomes visible when you cultivate this heightened awareness. You notice the shadows within, the triggers, the habits, the fears you once ignored. And once you see them, you can transform them. You are no longer a victim of your unconscious patterns, you are their master. The power to change your mind, to control your responses, to sculpt your life according to your highest vision, lies in observation. It is the bridge between awareness and action, between separation and mastery, between who you are and who you were meant to be. Come. This is the call. Embrace the observer's stance. Step back without disengaging. See without judgment. Understand without losing your center. Let your awareness sharpen your decisions, fuel your courage, and elevate your life. Every moment you choose to observe rather than react, every insight you gain from careful attention, every boundary you establish through clarity moves you closer to the life you are destined to lead. Observation is not passive, it is the most active, most powerful tool you possess. It transforms separation into strength, solitude into insight, and clarity into unstoppable momentum. So stand firm, watch closely, see clearly. Let the world reveal itself to you in ways it cannot reveal to the unobservant, the distracted, the unconscious. Let your vision become your guide, your insight become your power, your awareness become the foundation of your extraordinary life. The more you see, the more you rise. The more you rise, the more the world bends to your clarity. This is the power of observation, and it is waiting for you to claim it fully. As you sharpen your awareness and step fully into the power of observation, you encounter a deeper, more intimate form of separation, one that is not about the world around you, but about the world within. Carl Jung called this the encounter with the shadow, the parts of yourself you have hidden, denied, or refused to see. The shadow is not something to fear. It is the unclaimed power inside you, the raw, untamed truths that demand recognition. And when awareness turns inward, it separates you from illusions you have held about yourself. Suddenly, the life you thought you knew, the story you've been telling yourself, feels incomplete. You realize there are truths you've been avoiding, fears you've been masking, and desires you've been suppressing. This is the crucible of self-mastery, and it is where the brave rise while the timid retreat. Internal separation is painful because it exposes contradictions. You see the gap between who you believe you are and who you actually are. You confront weaknesses that make you uncomfortable, impulses that embarrass you, emotions that have been locked in the shadows for years, and for a moment, it feels as if the ground beneath you shifts, as if everything you thought was solid has dissolved. But here's the truth. This discomfort is not your enemy. It is the signal that you are on the threshold of transformation. The shadow is not darkness to run from. It is a mirror reflecting the parts of yourself that are ready to be integrated, strengthened, and mastered. Imagine carrying a weight you cannot see, a burden that quietly shapes every decision, every emotion, every relationship. This is what the shadow does when it remains unconscious. It drives you to react, to avoid, to self-sabotage, and to cling to patterns that no longer serve you. Awareness, however, illuminates it. Observation reveals it. Confrontation transforms it. The separation you feel inside is the space between your old, limited self and the emerging, unshakable, fully alive self you are becoming. And when you embrace that separation instead of fearing it, you begin the most profound journey of your life, the journey toward wholeness. This is where courage becomes your ally. To face your shadow requires unflinching honesty. It demands that you acknowledge your anger without judgment, your fear without shame, your envy without denial. It requires that you sit with your discomfort, that you stare at your flaws, that you confront your deepest failures. But here's the secret. Every moment of bravery chips away at the illusions that have kept you small. Every acknowledgement of your shadow is a step toward freedom. Every confrontation with your inner truth is a declaration that you will no longer live by unconscious patterns. Internal separation also fuels power. The more clearly you see your shadow, the less it controls you. The impulses that once manipulated your actions become tools you can direct. The fears that once paralyzed you become fuel for courage. The traits you once hid become sources of strength. Integration of the shadow is not about perfection. It is about reclaiming what is yours, harnessing what is raw, and transforming what is dormant into unstoppable momentum. In other words, internal separation is not a loss, it is a breakthrough, a liberation, and the foundation of unshakable inner authority. So lean into it, sit with yourself, reflect without fear, journal without holding back, meditate with focus. Every insight you gain, every uncomfortable truth you confront, every shadow you illuminate, draws you closer to your true power. The isolation you feel internally is not emptiness. It is the echo of your emergence, the sound of your consciousness, expanding, the rhythm of a mind learning to command itself. In this space, separation becomes sacred. It is the forge in which your authentic self is tempered, the crucible in which your clarity is refined, the battlefield where courage and integrity are born. You are stepping into a place where few dare to go. You are facing yourself with honesty that can terrify and empower in equal measure. This is the shadow, the internal separation, the necessary tension between who you were and who you are becoming. Embrace it, own it, let it illuminate your path, because when you integrate the shadow, when you master the separation within, you become unstoppable, you become whole, you become the force of clarity and courage that the world cannot ignore. This is your power, this is your awakening, and the journey is just beginning. Now, after all the awakening, the separation, the observation, and the confrontation with the shadow, you stand at the edge of transformation. You have seen what most people never see. You have felt what most people never endure. You have faced the parts of life and self that most people run from. And now comes the moment that defines everything, the choice to step fully into your power, to transform every pang of separation, every ounce of discomfort, into fuel for a life that is truly extraordinary. Separation is not your enemy, it is your proving ground. Every moment you have felt isolated, every glance of misunderstanding from those who cannot see your vision, every sleepless night wrestling with your own truths, has prepared you for this. You are not disconnected. You are ascending. The world has not rejected you. It has cleared the way for your emergence. You are standing apart because clarity demands space. You are awake because awakening requires courage. And the life that awaits beyond this separation is more vibrant, more potent, and more alive than anything you have ever imagined. Carl Jung taught that the path of awareness is raw. Rely easy, but it is sacred. The world will resist you. People may misunderstand you. Opportunities may be scarce, and the familiar may call you back with sweet whispers of comfort. But comfort is the camouflage of stagnation. Growth is the storm that shakes your foundation and strips away illusions. And you, having seen through the illusions, having felt the tension, having embraced your shadow, are no longer the person who can settle for the ordinary. You are no longer willing to live small, to live reactive, to live unexamined. You are ready to live awake, fully, deliberately, and unconquerably. And here is the truth that will ignite your resolve. The separation you have endured is proof, not punishment. Every pang of loneliness, every moment of internal tension, every sense of distance from the world is evidence that you are evolving, evidence that you are breaking free from the herd, from conformity, from the unconscious patterns that trap most people in mediocrity. The discomfort is temporary, the power it builds is eternal, the isolation is fleeting, the mastery it forges is unshakable, and the clarity you now possess is the compass that will guide you through every storm, every challenge, every decision, into a life of extraordinary fulfillment. Now is the time to act. Do not wait for validation from the crowd. Do not seek approval from the unawakened. Do not fear the solitude that clarity demands. Instead, take what you have learned and integrate it. Step boldly into your life with awareness as your armor, observation as your weapon, and shadow integration as your foundation. Face each day with the certainty that you are no longer controlled by circumstance, by fear, or by illusion. Choose what aligns with your vision. Choose what elevates your soul. Choose what strengthens your power. Let every action be intentional. Let every word reflect your clarity. Let every relationship, every commitment, every pursuit be filtered through the lens of who you are becoming. Stand firm in your authenticity. Stand resilient in your solitude. Stand unstoppable in your vision. And when the world resists, when others cannot understand, when the temptation to return to the comfortable path calls, remember, you are awake, you are aware, you are alive in a way most people will never know. And this is not just survival, it is mastery, So rise, step forward, embrace the separation as your catalyst, the awareness as your guide, the shadow as your teacher. Transform the discomfort into determination, the isolation into insight, and the clarity into unstoppable momentum. Build a life that is undeniable, a presence that commands respect, a consciousness that cannot be ignored. The world may still be asleep, but you are awake. The world may still cling to illusion, but you see clearly. The world may resist your ascent, but you are unshakable. This is your awakening. This is your power. This is your life. Claim it, own it, live it, and from this moment forward, let nothing, no fear, no doubt, no distraction stand between you and the extraordinary reality that awaits beyond awareness, beyond separation, beyond everything you once thought was impossible. The path is clear, the fire is lit, and the journey is yours. Step into it with courage, with conviction, and with the unstoppable force of a mind and soul fully awake.